Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hmm.
I think we have 3 viewers in this session. I think the big eye over there indicates the number of viewers that we have. So I think we have 3 viewers.
The 3 viewers are supposed to be the 3 of us?
No, we're 28, 28,
All right.
29. Our viewers are back. We are delighted. Welcome, everybody. This is the final session of the first day of the fourth GSPP conference. As usual, like in each of the previous years, the conference has been organized in collaboration with the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy from the National University in Singapore and with the Astana Civil Service Hub. This year, we were very fortunate because in addition to having the speeches by the provost and by the dean of our school, Professor Wentat Hui, we had a very insightful speech by Dr. Vinod Thomas, who's a visiting professor in the LKY School of Public Policy and has a long career in development in international organization, having spent his career in the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank. And as a development expert, as someone with an expertise both as a scholar and as a practitioner, he was the ideal person to give the keynote speech in our event because, as you probably have seen if you have attended our various session, in our conference, the 2 days are evenly divided between the first day in which we have the presentation from several practitioners, and the second day in which most of our presentation are coming and are made and will be delivered by scholars, young scholars and seasoned scholars as well. So the presentation by Vinod Thomas was very insightful because it reminded us that no matter how devastating this COVID crisis has been, it is also an opportunity. It's also an opportunity for us to think about what we need to do to create a more resilient future. And he identified areas in which we can intervene. We need to invest more and do better to secure public health. We need to do more to protect the environment. Sounds crazy in a period of economic crisis in which the GDP is dropping and unemployment is rising. We should pay more effort, more attention to protecting the environment, but that's really one of those structural changes that we need to make. So that's something that we need to do. And another point that was very, very important is that we need to invest in education. Education is crucial. For many developing countries, as they make progress along the developmental path, growth rate will be driven by innovation. And in order to enable them to achieve those kind of results, they need to improve the quality of education they impart to their citizens. One of the key lines that Professor Vinod Thomas made is that access to education is not enough. What matters is quality of education. And so providing support to educational institutions to improve the quality of education that they can provide to students is crucial. And last but not least, the topic that he underlined was that good governance matters. That's a topic that is very dear to us in the Graduate School of Public Policy of Nazarbayev University because good governance matters is the motto of our school. And we do believe that if we want to help developing countries making greater progress in terms of development, we want to make sure that they have a sustained socioeconomic development and make progress and ensure better lives to their citizens. Good governance is crucial. Good governance at the macro level, at the meso level, within various sectors and so forth and so on. The themes that Vinod Thomas highlighted in his presentations resonated and have already resonated in each of the panels that we had today. Today we had 3 panels on the environment, on water, and on trust and governance. And some of the other themes that he touched upon will be discussed more extensively tomorrow in the remaining panels. So tomorrow we're going to have a fantastic panel on health, public health. What did we discuss today? Well, today we had the 3, in addition to the keynote speech by our famed keynote speaker, we had 3 panels. The first one was on the environment, and that was a very, very successful panel that brought to our attention the importance to intervene to securing and protecting the environment. Because the fact that the environment is being corrupted, if you let me use this word, is not just an environmental issue. It also creates a problem for our health and for the sustainability of our economy. So whenever we think we make money first and we clean the planet later, actually is the wrong way to think about these issues. We need to make sure whatever we do is not going to take a toll on the health of the environment. So that was a very, very important panel. Panel number 2 was on water, right, Stefanos?
Thanks, Ricardo. Just to brief a bit, just to give an outline of the water. That was, I think, quite an interesting in terms of the panelists, because we had panelists that they are very experienced and they represent like quite accredited organization. So we had the chair was the Swiss ambassador, and this is a special envoy for the water sector. We had also the head of cooperation for the environmental aspects. We have Mr. Steinbeck from the European Union. We have the country director of World Bank, Mr. Borunciu. And we had also Martin Krasnay, that he's from the Corvinus University, the Central Asian Institute of Research. Mrs. Ruby, that's from the USAID, and they have a huge program on the energy and the water aspects. And we had Seri Korazgaliev, that is from our faculty, and he gave very excellent remarks on the water and the relevance with the infrastructure sector and the SMEs. So altogether, what we tried to do in this panel was to touch upon like the practical aspects of water resources management and the water energy food nexus, because we know that we do a lot on the research on water security. I just presented a graph that the water security literature is going on, but mainly there is a very high divergence between what the scholars think about water security and what the practitioners think about water security. And this gap, I think, has to be bridged. And that's why we brought these practitioners, actually, these practitioners / experts from large organizations that they put millions of dollars on water infrastructure, on water and energy nexus, and they talked about energy demand and also the hydropower aspects. They talked also about the COVID that could return as an opportunity, so that we could just restructure much of this kind of water, energy, food nexus aspects. And also they talked about the need for the mutual trust for the governments, because we know that there is a lack of trust, especially between the upstream countries, namely Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Afghanistan. We have to say that it is part of the Central Asian game, and the downstream countries, that is Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. This seems to be built slowly, and I think it will be a great opportunity to engage them further in talks with Nazarbayev University on how to merge better this research part with this practitioners part.
Yeah. The third panel that was organized by the Astana Civil Service Hub involved 8 presentations, and some of the topics that on which the presenters spoke actually resonate with what you just said, because you raised the issue of trust. Trust was one of the key themes that emerged in at least 3 of the presentations that we had in the panel organized by the hub. Some way of doing quote unquote business, some ways of running the government, providing public service to the population, require more trust than other ways of doing business. So, for example, one solution is to decentralize, because through decentralization we lower our need. Government institutions don't need to have as much trust to enjoy citizen support. Communication was seen as one of the ways in which we can promote trust. So, I don't want to go through the whole literature of trust. Trust has been something that political scientists have been fascinated with for at least 70 years, but the issue became very prominent once Robert Putnam in 1993 published Making Democracy Work, and then, Bowling Alone, where he said, what makes government institution work is trust. And then there was a big search for what makes, this trust in government institution thrive. His explanation was cultural, his social interaction, his social capital. What we learned today, which was very interesting, it was a presentation of Karine Badre from OECD, is that government responsiveness, reliability, openness and fairness and integrity can also play a role in build citizen trust in government institution. That's absolutely important. Communication is a key part of that. So, one of the key themes that emerged is that, trust is important. There are some reforms that, or some steps the governments can take to ensure a higher level of citizen trust in the government authority. Other debates, other presentation focused on the things that governments had to do to do what they need to do, because the COVID crisis forced us to rethink the way we deliver services, the way we work, with the way we organize our professional life. We as academics know very well that we had to go online and teach, through Zoom or through other platforms, and government activities were not unaffected by this crisis as well. And so several of the presentations speaking on this digitalization and other solutions told us what were some of the solutions that were adopted in the region. And that was very, very, very interesting, because not just because it gave us an opportunity to learn more and have, first-hand data and information about what's happening in the region, but also because it gave us an example of what are some of the best practices that are implemented regionally to actually make this government system more resilient in time of crisis. And the reason why this is important is because I will say that the team that came out from Vino Thomas' presentation, that came out in the environmental panel, and they came out in the governance panel organized by the hub, is that we may have in the future more frequent crises than we've been experienced in the past. So this COVID crisis may not be a one-off. We may end up having or end up living in a VUCA world, which is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, and therefore we need to create systems that are more resilient to cope with these challenges that we need to deal with. And so these public sector reforms that were discussed extensively by our panelists are very useful, because they can provide an indication of what could be done, what should be done to make our government more resilient. So I think that all the themes that were highlighted at the beginning of the day return in various ways in the presentations in the three panels we've had so far. Tomorrow we are going to have more panels. Madina is going to provide all the information about that. I would like to remind our participants, those who are still with us right now, that in case you have missed any of the presentations that we had today, don't worry, you can go on the YouTube page of the Graduate School of Public Policy, and we have all the footage, all the recordings of our sessions. So, if you missed the beginning or part of a session, don't worry, you can go back and rewatch it. We expect you to be back tomorrow. We will be starting at 9:30, and we will have a long day with several other panels and very interesting presentations. And Madina, now the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ricardo and Stefanos, for your closing remarks. I would like to thank everyone who joined us today for the first time online conference. So thank you everyone for joining us. We hope it was a productive first day of the conference for all of you. And just a reminder about tomorrow's program. So let me show you the program. So we are going to start tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Astana time. Okay, I think
Sultan time, huh?
Yes, Sultan time. One moment. I think you don't see my screen, right? So tomorrow we are going to have several sessions. So first one is going to be the panel that is dedicated. So first we are going to start with the opening ceremony. For those who didn't attend today's session, today's opening ceremony, so you will be able to watch it, as well as welcome speeches will be also there included. Then we are going to have a panel 4, which is dedicated to the topic of poverty reduction and economic development. Panel 5 on topic of policies, reforms, and natural resources in Central Asia. Then we're going to have a second keynote speech by Professor Phoebe Koduri from Athens University. And then we'll have a panel 6 on climate action energy and energy transition and labor markets. Panel 7 on challenges of COVID-19 and health management in Central Asia, and the 2 parallel sessions of young researchers, which will be represented mostly by GSPP PhD students. And then after we close the second day of the conference, and actually it will be the closing remark of the whole conference, we are going to have a networking event. So don't forget about that, and please join us. It will be even more interesting experience. We will share with you more information about the networking event. So don't miss it, and bookmark your time. We are going to have it at 7 p.m. Nur Sultan time tomorrow. And I would like to encourage you to be actively participating in all the sessions. So please send your questions in Q&A. Also, you can check the left toolbar of your main event page. We have several options of networking, so you can actually request a personal meeting with some person you are interested in to talk face-to-face. So don't miss the chance of this interesting available function at our online conference. And also there is event chat, so you can share your thoughts, feedback, and you can rate all the sessions after each session. You can also bookmark it, those sessions that you want to attend, so you will not miss it. So you will receive a reminder. So thank you, everyone. I think I will stop sharing the program. The program is also available at the website and here in Pine. So thank you, everyone. Ricardo?
Yeah, so thank you, everybody. And on this happy note, we wish you a good evening, and we hope to see you all back tomorrow for another interesting day and a good set of papers and presentations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I end or you end? You end.
Yes, I'm clicking.